Uroš is one of the first people I met in Belgrade, and one of the most I spoke with, so I owe him most of the things I know about Serbian life. We didn't do so many things together, but I will never forget the night we spent setting up an IKEA table. He managed to bring me to see a football match at the stadium after like 16 years, and most importantly, he introduced me to my favorite Serbian dish, pljeskavica. Thank you, man. In this episode, we talked about a lot of stuff: childhood, school, hangovers. He also spent 3 months living in a hostel there in Belgrade and told me some cool story about that period. It's a long episode, but I remember the time flew while recording in his apartment at number 51. My name is Federico Rossi, and I had to spend 6 weeks in Belgrade, Serbia for an internship with Isaac. Actually, I ended up spending 3 months because the city and its people are amazing. And this is Serbaindipity, the podcast where I collect the interview that I took to the people I met along the way. Okay, now you can enjoy the episode. Hi, Uroš.
Hello, Federico.
I've been hosted in your house and now I've been hosting you in my podcast. It's a well-balanced situation, I guess.
It is a quid pro quo, especially if I get famous in Italy by this.
That's true. I hope so. So let's start from the basic. You've been in ISEC for some year.
Yeah, I've been in ISEC for 3.5 years, from 2018 to like mid 2020.
And why did you decide to join this association?
Well, the decision part was I was basically bullied by some of my friends from college because they knew that I have been, just a lazy piece of shit that's just watching NBA and smoking weed, and they were actually the productive young people who are trying to do something with their lives. So it was by their advice, actually.
In the beginning, what did you do?
In the beginning, I was in charge, being a team member for incoming volunteer department. That's basically the part who is negotiating with schools and kindergartens about foreign students coming for internship to volunteer and teach English, but also introduce the kids with the culture of the country that they come from.
Cool. I guess you learned a lot of stuff. You told me you've also been a buddy for one person.
Yes, I've been EP buddy for a couple of people. That's like the other part of the obligations, that you are the person who is responsible for them to not only have a good time and enjoy Serbia, but also in some logistic aspects, especially in the first few weeks, to get them accommodated well in Serbia and introduce them to like buses and food and
Okay, so Isaac provides you a friend at least, so you can come back and say, I met one person.
yeah. So to all the people who don't have friends and stay all night play video games, join ISEC. You'll get some friends, hopefully.
Yeah, that's cool. Now you have been, are you in touch with them?
Yes, sure. I'm now alumni. I'm actually going to the national conference by the end of this month. That's basically a week or weekend, depend how much you stay there, for like all the people that are in ISIC Serbia. There are about 300 people stuck in one hotel for the few days, learning but also having fun. So yeah, I'm very excited about that. And also, I do keep in touch with people that I've met along the way, because it is a unique experience. So you kind of not only have always something in common with that person, but it's kind of a cult, because no other people can actually, understand what's that experience like. So that is what basically keeps those connection really good later in life.
You're pretty good at connecting with people. You told me you've been living in a hostel for 3 months. I really like this thing. I've never thought about to do this thing in my life, but I think it's very easy and very, I don't know, affordable for every kind of people. Why did you choose to do that?
Well, actually, that is one of the perks that I got from being in ISEC, because first of all, I knew about that hostel because of ISEC. We've used that for our EPs, And the second thing is I was more comfortable living with people from all around the world because I've been in touch with them with Isaac. The technical reasons were that I've rented my own place in Belgrade to other people, so I was kind of homeless and got a job that I had to start in like 2 weeks from and had to move from my hometown. So I was like, why not? Why not live a few months in a hostel and see what that's like? Instead of just moving into some shitty apartment that is available like in the matter of days, and it turned out to be amazing. And by the extended logic, that's why I decided to be a global host for you and also Valkyria, because I was living with like 6 people in the room, so I was like, what's one person in 2 rooms,
Yeah, for sure.
kind of all connects together from Isaac to hostel and now to me hosting.
Yeah, I love it. How it is to live with all these people. I mean, I would find it pretty difficult because I enjoy staying with other people, but I also need to stay by myself to recharge my batteries and be surrounded by all of these people all the day. I may find it pretty tiring. How did you find it?
Yeah, sure. I mean, there's obviously some bad things about it because you're never exactly alone. But the conception of the hostel is that you have a common room where all the shit happens, partying and drinking, whatever. But you also have like bedrooms that's basically a quiet room. So you go there just to chill and nobody's talking or they're whispering. So you can't have that quiet time. Like you can't never be all alone. Like so that's one of the things that is I guess bad, but it has so much benefits that you kind of don't even pay attention to it because every day you get home from work and there's new batch of people from every continent, eating different food, singing different songs or playing different music and just chilling. So that whole atmosphere kind of doesn't even how to say I didn't even wish to be alone because it was a new experience every day or every week. So it was truly amazing, and I always say it beats coming home from work and scrolling fucking social media and being a lazy
In a
couch piece
really
of shit.
social media place.
Yeah, I mean, if you're living alone, you come home, open up a beer, and you just waste time. And this was like, it was worth going to work to come back every day and have conversations and experiences.
Which kind of story would you have to tell after this?
Well, definitely the most exciting story is my two Colombian friends. They basically juggle for a living. They left Colombia like 5 years ago, and they're like travelers, backpack travelers, and live in the hostels in the different countries. And their job is basically to juggle in the intersections of the boulevards. So they juggle from the bowling pins to the umbrella and ball and everything. So that's basically their work and their life. They do that for like 3 hours a day and get about 40 euros a day as like payment with no taxes. And I mean, they're just so crazy and full of life, and that is definitely the most exciting story. From them fighting with gypsies because gypsies beg on the intersections, so they were kind of stealing their job. So all kind of funny situations. They showed me like they got some weed from the people from the car that gives them money, or like Viagra, or like T-shirts, beer. So like every day is an adventure for them. But other than that, there's also for me the most exciting part is because I was in hostel in my own country, just to see people from all around the world far away, see how they react to Serbia for the first time, because Serbia gets a bad rap, obviously. So people think of it from poverty Eastern European country to like narco state to like warmonger country. So it's cool to see them kind of develop that from that perspective too.
How old were these guys?
About 27, 29. Yeah, a bit older than us. But the one guy, I don't know the other, what's his story. But the one guy was at university. He graduated like, what is that? Graphic design. And he had a job like designing shit for cars. And he was, so it was okay job and he got education. He's not like some favela story.
Yeah, in fact.
He actually chose to do that. He was like fuck this shit, like, what am I doing here, 8 hours a day in my computer. And he just packed his bag, learned some tricks, and then went, Serbia, Spain, Bulgaria, Switzerland. Now he's going to France, like all the countries, and he pays by that for like juggling in the street. I mean, it's amazing. I'm
And I
still
love this
standing.
story.
Yeah, we keep in touch because he loves Serbia so much, and he came back 3 times. And I even took him to my hometown, and yeah, it's just amazing experience to have some person that is free from all the capitalist online environment that we're on.
And social like influence.
Yeah, he actually learned English on his journey. He didn't know English when he went from Colombia, so he just knew Spanish and some tricks, and now he speaks English, speaks few words of Serbian. I mean,
This
it's
is a
amazing.
very well lived life.
Yeah, this he should be on your story. I just could be his manager.
Yes, I'd love to interview these kind of people. They should have so many stories, and I don't know, such a point of view on life that must be shared with other people. And you named your hometown. I've been in your hometown. I've been in Belgrade and in your hometown, and they are pretty much different. And I don't know how is to move from such a quiet city to this chaotic Belgrade.
It was tough at first because not only it's chaotic, but it's really flat. The ground is flat, and Belgrade is up and down. It's kind of on a not on the hills, but like on a bit of hills. Everything is chaotic. The streets are chaotic. I mean, it's a proper capital. It has like more than 2 million people. So yeah, the first few months were just trying to get my direction and try to figure out why everything is so fucking expensive.
Yes.
So yeah, I mean, for any small town kid, this is like a jungle, especially because I've lived in like maybe suburban parts of town, like sheltered neighborhood. So coming from there to here, but it was exciting. I liked it. Kind of woke me up for my laziness to say.
Yeah, did it change you a lot? I mean, if I grew up because I also grew up in such a pretty quiet place, you can make any noise after 11 and people start complaining in real life and on a Facebook group. And yeah, we can do anything at night. We just need to move to the city center and stuff like that. Also, because there isn't any place to have fun.
Yeah.
And I don't know, then the city center is not so crowded, it's not so chaotic. But I mean, if I move to, I don't know, Milan, which is pretty much possible, I think it could be a shock in the first days, first weeks. And I guess that after a couple of years, maybe my character would change. Do you feel changed after this experience?
Yes, for sure. I mean, on the good, and I wouldn't say bad, but like when you're in a small town, you're kind of somebody. I wasn't like the most popular kid, but you're still somebody. Everybody
You
knows
were
your
the most
crew.
popular
I
kid.
wasn't. I wasn't. I was close, but I was no. I'm kidding. No, but even though you're not the most popular kid, you kind of have your position and like hierarchy and your crew, and everybody knows you have your place
Yeah, sure.
and whatever. And then
Your role.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Most important, your role, even though if it's not maybe the top or
Mhm,
whatever,
mhm.
but you know your place. And when you come to the fucking capital, nobody gives a shit about you. First of all, people who are born here immediately start looking down on you. So like you became like from somebody, you become nobody in like social world, and you start your first year in university, which is so much different than high school. I mean, high school is nothing basically compared to the university, and I enrolled in philosophy, so that's like a whole other thing. So it kind of humbles you and makes you, lose a bit of confidence, but also challenges you to develop, your some skills maybe, but also your place in, the university class, in the whole surroundings. Makes you be much more organized and punctual and resourceful because in my hometown I know where everything is. I know the exact time which will take to get from my house to school, this store, that coffee place, and here's like you miss one bus, you'll be fucking late to class. So like you always kind of have to be on that like defense system.
Yeah. And exist on your own legs.
Yeah, no mama's kitchen. It's like
And have you been living alone or with other people?
I've been living alone for the most of the time. I've been living with my friend for like half a year after 2 or 3 years, but yeah, mostly I've been living alone.
Yeah, so you start from zero in Belgrade. It was difficult to make new friends.
It wasn't so because like we had our crew, like the whole crew from my hometown. Uh, so we kind of stuck together, and so when you're in a group you'll easily be more easier to meet some other people. And then Isaac came shortly after, maybe my year and a half in Belgrade, or not even year and a half, so you automatically get acquainted with so many people, and then out of 30, like you'll be friendly with five of them. So it wasn't. And also like philosophy is not such like opportunistic and like cutthroat environment like some maybe psychology or like engineering or whatever, that people are there for the career and success and everything. Like people
Just
don't,
enjoy.
yeah, want to talk to other people that are interested in philosophy, especially when you combine like five or six people that are the only person there from their hometown, from the like or village that's like 5,000, 20,000 fucking people, and nobody gives a shit about philosophy. So like on the first day, oh fuck, I'm in the room with like 100 people who care about philosophy. So like that's
Yeah.
kind of conversation starter. But the other thing is that like most of the people that enroll in philosophy are just pretentious pieces of shit that like read some 100 pages of Nietzsche,
Yeah.
and now they think they know everything. So I didn't get a lot of friends from university. It's safe to
Yeah,
say.
the ones that matter.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
that's true.
And why did you decide to enroll to philosophy? Did you study it at high school?
Yeah, I had a really good teacher in high school,
Yeah,
so
that's
that's yeah, and it was I was kind of okay, and good in some math, physics, and like that, but it didn't interest me so much. And philosophy basically the only thing that really interested me. So yeah, that's simple.
okay. Tell me, which kind of person were you during high school?
I was
I already know it. I just want to share it with my audience.
I was arrogant piece of shit that was kind of rebellious and just spent his days smoking weed, watching football, and making shit in class, and like just going from week to week, not really being responsible or caring about anything else. So yeah, but I was fun to hang out then. It was cool, especially in the senior year when you kind of own the
Yeah, when you
school.
are the king.
Yeah. It was one of my most precious memories, just waking up, being late to first two classes, then on the big break, smoke a joint, and go play some FIFA, and take an espresso, and come back to school. And I'm like, oh, you motherfuckers have been here for 4 hours. And the fourth year was amazing.
Yeah, I loved it. Sometimes in high school, I feel like I wasted many years when I could do many things with my life because when you are in high school, you have so much time, but you don't realize it until you start, I don't know, working or studying so much stuff.
But in what terms that you lost time? You could do more fun things or productive things?
Yeah, both. You just, I don't know, after school, you come back at home and you watch, I don't know, cartoons or cartoons, cartoons at 70.
Yeah.
No, well, I don't know, you start watching random stuff on TV just to, I don't know, chill out and you could go out with your friends. But one of the biggest problems of my life is that I stay stuck in the middle. So I don't have so much fun and I'm not so productive. So if I think that I could be productive and I don't start working on something and stuff like that, I start having fun, but not so much fun.
Yeah.
So I start, I don't know, watching some random stuff on TV that I don't enjoy so much. And I don't know, now that I have less time to
Yeah,
do,
and we're old now. We're like older now.
yeah, pretty
Like when
old.
you're 17, like 25 is like whoa, and 30 is like old. So you kind of don't have that perspective that time is valuable because you have so much of
Yeah,
it. So I also wish that I was more productive. But like looking back, what fucking immature jerk I was. Like it's not realistic. And the people who actually were super productive in high school, I wouldn't switch places with them. Like
yeah,
you
because
know,
they didn't leave an important part of life. Yeah, that's true. But I also think that if I have kids, I will start making them work very early, so they will appreciate the free time.
yeah, sure. I good luck with that. I'm so afraid of having kids because of I know what I was like as a child and in high school and every stage of my childhood. So like I just hope they will have my wife's genes because
How is childhood in Serbia?
depends where because it has a lot of differences regarding from town to town, especially Belgrade and other places. Because in Belgrade, you're basically raised on the street, like in some part of New York, like there are of course like suburbs and shit like that, but like majority of kids start using public transport immediately and get around town because even though Belgrade is big, it's not huge like New York, so you can easily go to the center when
Yeah,
you're like
sure.
30. You just sit on a bus. So if you're in Belgrade, it's kind of good because it's not so big, the kids have a lot more opportunities to experience it. Of course, there are bad things that come with that, like drugs and violence and shit like that. But in small areas, it's interesting. It's kind of for the first years, it's kind of quiet and like all these American suburb movies. Everybody goes to the same school and do the
Yeah,
same
sure.
shit.
Just like
Listen to same music, I guess, in every place. But then it becomes more fun in high school because, like we talk about, is like in Serbia, there are much more things allowed and how to say available to kids than in like European Union or whatever regarding alcohol, cigarettes, and like renting out a pub for your friends when you're like 16 or 18. So like high school is a lot of fun. Like we drink like a lot and do drugs or whatever. It depends what do you want to do in high school, and it's kind of funny. It's perfectly summed up in like one rap song. The rapper says like at 20 you already stopped doing drugs, like or like I gotta cut out my drinking a bit. But yeah, it gets crazy from like 16 to 22 3 in Serbia. Like it plays with joyful people, like to party, like to celebrate everything with drinks and food. Nightlife is crazy.
yeah,
So
nightlife in Serbia is
yeah, and you can
amazing.
go into the clubs when you're 16, 18. There's nobody requires like 21 or some shit like maybe like five, exclusive discos. But like if you live in Belgrade, from 16 you can go to the splavs and nightclubs.
Well, we also have that. We are not in the USA that you can get drunk until 21 and stuff like that. But yeah, I think it's very cool to grow up in Belgrade for the nightlife and all the opportunities you've got and all the freedom because I don't know. I noticed that there is much more freedom about you smoking clubs.
Yeah, six inside, baby.
You drink alcohol very easily, so it would be cool. Maybe if I die and rebirth as a Serbian boy, I would appreciate it.
Listen, given the amount of time you've spent here and your wish to stay here, I think you have already attracted some karmic, forces to reincarnate you in Serbia. But yeah, but like the one disadvantage that Belgrade kids have is when you go to the university at like after high school at 1920, all the people from other cities start living alone or with roommates, but basically without parents. But if you're in Belgrade, it's just stupid to get, an apartment when you're 19 for yourself. You just continue living with your parents for a few years until you're at the end of your university, and then get to work or whatever. But I mean, the rent is high in Belgrade, and the people who live here already have a lot of space in the house, so it's kind of a luxury to go two streets down from your parents at 19 years old and have your own place. So like they don't have that kick of freedom and recklessness, and their parents are still in the same town. It's so we're completely like left out of the cage at that point.
Yeah, it's not easy also in Italy to live on your own and stuff like that. Talking about growing up, for example, you gave me an idea some minutes ago. Which relationship is there between teenagers and alcohol? When do you get drunk for the first time in Serbia?
I mean, it can be anywhere from like 10, 11 to 15. Depends how rural you live, if you live in the villages and shit like that. But like, I guess the most common thing is it's by seventh or eighth grade in elementary. That's like from 13 to 15, and you get drunk of either few beers or you drink like Keglevich, that's, sweet
Commercial
vodka.
vodka.
Yeah, because here the birthday parties start being in like small clubs that are rented out, like private party really early, from like eighth grade or shit like that. So I first got drunk in seventh grade. There's some girl from my class that has had a bit of money, rented out this like disco, and it was like that soft alcohol, like Keglevich and shit like that, and
Yeah, but you don't need so much stuff when
but
you're
you don't
young.
need so much stuff. Plus, they like counted like 3 drinks per person, but some people don't want to drink, so you got
So yeah,
so
thank
we got
you.
blasted. But yeah, and after that, it was in also like eighth grade and shit like that. When you finish up, the eighth grade, and then you'll get drunk, and after that you pretty much start drinking on some occasions, and then in like second sophomore junior year of high school, like going out regularly on the weekends, and then it's like 18th birthday. It's like Sodom and Gomorrah, like the whole year for that generation. Everybody rents out the disco. Everybody, drinks, pukes, get wasted, do drugs, whatever. So that's kind of the hardcore part of growing up in Serbia.
Yeah, you told seventh, eighth grades in elementary school, so I pretty much know how these things work in Serbia. But let's make it clear for my audience, because you have elementary school and then high school,
Yeah, sure. You have 8 grades of elementary school, starting from 6 or 7, depends which month you are, and then you finish elementary either at 14 or 15.
and then you go to high school.
And go directly to high school, have 4 years of high school, and then at the age of 19, you enroll to the university.
Okay, yeah. So okay, it was 12 or 13 when you got drunk for the first time, right?
I was 13, yeah.
Okay, because we in Italy, for example, have elementary school until 10 or 11 years. Then we have like medium school from 11 to 13, and then we start having fun in high school. I hated so much medium school. It's like I call it the medieval of my life.
Yeah, I get it. It's tough time. It's like, it's like a jungle. Everybody for themselves, for such a young age. Kids are cruel.
They do evil things, but they don't get it. They don't know what they're doing. There is a film about this, the fourth season of Kiduka, and I always think about this when I hear about cyberbullying and stuff like that with kids, because yeah, you're a kid, you are making fun of other people even if they are suffering, and you don't realize how much this hurt to them.
Yeah, it's true. I mean, you don't have perspective, and you kind of are all bothered with your own problems. But it's no excuse. I was bullying some people in elementary school. I also was, getting in trouble with some older people. So I was also
In the middle.
bullied. Yeah. So I know the both sides. I'm not proud of any of it. But like most of the people who are judging would do the same fucking thing if they have the opportunity. You're just undeveloped piece of shit, hormones wilding, first crushes, first everything, and like most of the people would, try to climb the top of the hierarchy, however cruel it may sound. But yeah, it's fucked up.
Talking about films, one thing that I really love about Serbia, well, I don't love it, I'm very interested about it, is that you have all these like TV contents in original language, because you don't have dubbing voiceovers about this in Serbian. So you experience films and TV shows like in English or French with Serbian subtitles. And this is cool because even if you're not so well educated, you start knowing some languages because you fully experienced it.
Yeah, it's true. I mean, especially for English, or generally only for English, but yeah, we have all the movies and everything that is not dubbed, and also a big part of it's video games because we also don't have any translation. Everything is in English. From the start of the phones, we now have the Serbian option for Serbian language, but like my generation didn't have. So it's not kind of weird to have your phone on Serbian, you know. So yeah, we had that, benefit to start learning English from like 7. I mean, proper English speaking, communicating, not just grammar shit. So yeah, it's amazing. I remember we were like 10 years old on Skype talking to people from I don't know, Canada or whatever, playing World of Warcraft. So that's how I know English basically. And now I've don't want to say perfected, but like I've enhanced it.
Yeah, you're more fluent than me in English.
Yeah, a bit. It's also that, like that core from childhood, but also from ISEC, like, meeting with people, having interviews with people, and then explaining everything to them. And it's the best way to learn. You kind of, especially if someone is not that fluent, you kind of have to choose the words. So you learn synonyms. And
Ah, yes, you can choose.
yes, you can choose which
It's a
word.
luxury.
Yeah, because for example, my Colombian friend, he's really beginner level, so I have to think about every sentence before I say it. And I was lazy, didn't learn grammar, so my grammar can be, people may notice that some words stick out, but like by talking with people from different countries, you get so many different words and expressions. Instead of just talking with some English person, you will learn proper English, but this kind of makes you think in English and about English. So it is a benefit being a shithole country with no access to Serbian translations and dub. But yeah, I mean, it's same like people from north of Africa, they know French from the like 5 years old because it was the next colony. Or like people in Armenia, Georgia, all the ex-Soviet states know Russian. So you kind of grow up with two languages since you're 10.
Yeah, it's very useful.
Yeah, and then kind of pick up on English like immediately. So by end of the elementary school, those regions have like 3 languages at their disposal. I mean, that's just fascinating.
In Italy, it's not so sure that a guy of our age knows English and can speak in English very easily, because we always grew up having stuff in Italian. So you either learn it from school or maybe from video games if you're really pretty much in into this. But if you're not well educated, or you're not so much into video games, or I don't know, YouTube, it's very hard for you to learn it. Continuing this topic. Sorry for asking, but I really want this thing in my podcast. Let's talk about some very, I don't know, well-known,
Infamous.
infamous. You already know,
Yeah,
some
of
very
course.
infamous film coming from Serbia, because, well, in the cinematic panorama, Serbia is not so well known. But if you talk about a Serbian film, you talk about Serbian film. So tell me something about the impact it had in your country.
Yeah, sure. Well, from the more like serious perspective, it's like the name itself, Serbian movie, and the how to say the plot and everything. who, for people who doesn't know, it's basically one of the most disgusting and disturbing movies. You'll see the deals with sodomy and pornographic shit and pedophilia and some guys fucking a baby. So it's like the worst things.
Spoiler.
Yeah,
I will cut it.
bro, just no, don't cut it. Just don't watch it. No, but like the most horrible shit you can imagine, basically. And like the original, like how to say, the official story is that it's like a critique on society or whatever. It's an artistic, but it's just a blatant attempt to smear the like Serbia as a country for like no apparent reason, because like even though it has a lot of problem and it is a shitty in some ways, naming Serbian something that deals with, you know, all those horrible things like pedophilia and violence and shit like that. It's really for some of the people, because there's a lot of people from Serbia that don't like being Serbian. Like they want to be European, they want to be progressive and shit like that. So they use every opportunity to you know, smear and talk shit about Serbia. So like that's the kind of origin of the movie. But that's for like international audience. In our own sphere, especially with your kid, it was kind of something like a dare or challenge, you know. Oh yeah, it's the most horrible movie ever. I bet you won't see it. You're a pussy or whatever. And that was kind of thing of a pride to watch it, like in elementary school.
Like a medal,
Yeah, yeah.
like Boy Scouts.
Yeah, really literal. Like when you're 12, 13, like, oh yeah, I watched it. So it's kind of bragging thing. Yeah, but it's so funny that it has some shit like that has totally different perspectives, like from inside and outside, and like when you're young and then when you grow up. But yeah, I remember your reaction when I told you that it was like a dare for us in elementary school.
Well, at this point, I don't know. You can suggest us to balance the situation some cool Serbian movie that is worth to watch it.
Oh yeah, well, thanks for the opportunity. There's a movie. It's called "When I Grow Up, I'll Be a Kangaroo." It is about, you know, a life of the ordinary people from Belgrade, like the guys from the like hood, but not nothing gangster, just, you know, regular people, and it revolves around the football game, and you have different characters who are impacted by that, whether they're betting or they're just not giving a fuck and smoking weed on the roof. One guy tries to seduce a girl, but it gives you a pretty good look into the realistic side of Belgrade in like 2000s and people's, you know, everyday little hustles and worries and shit. The other movie that I would suggest is Lightning. That's Munje. That's like a bit few years older, but it also revolves around like underground urban Belgrade from after the bombing in '99. Some other movies, I don't know. We can just drop links below, so people who are really interested can watch it. But Serbia has a lot of really good movies. There are movies from the '90s that are about the war and everything that comes with. For example, Skyhook. You know that in basketball that move. It's okay, but it's a trademark from Karim Abdul-Jabbar, and yeah, it's placed during the NATO bombing, so you can see kind of that side of it. So you can see people how people in Serbia lived during those times. It's pretty realistic, so it gives you a good picture. And we also have happy movies like We Are Not the Angels, or like How Did the Rock and Roll Go to Shit, or shit like that. So yeah, it is a really how to say, underrated
Okay.
cinema country.
Yeah, yeah. I will watch it. I won't watch it in Serbia,
You're just
but
lying now, okay?
but when I will feel like nostalgic about this experience, I will put some of these films and I'll start watch them for sure. So the interview is going to close, is going to end, but there is one more question I want to make you.
Yeah.
It is about one thing that at the beginning I didn't like about Serbia. I said, "Oh fuck, I need to do this," but now I feel I'm really interested. I start like I don't know. Then you will understand. I'm starting to trying to figure it out how it works, and it is about Cyrillic. Okay, in the beginning, I said, "Oh fuck, I need to learn Serbian and also Cyrillic," but
Yeah.
and also like as visual as I don't know as alphabet just to see it graphically. I didn't like it, but I don't know after like 2 or 3 weeks, I said, "Wow, Cyrillic is very good to see. It's very cool."
Aesthetically.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
and typography and stuff like that. So how it is to live with two different alphabets and two different well, the language is the same, but I guess it can be pretty confusing when you're a kid.
I don't know, like when you're a kid, you kind of just take it all in like a sponge. So I guess we didn't feel so much of a difficulty because like if you were good at reading and writing in like first grade, you would do both letters, whatever.
No problems.
Yeah, no problems. And if you would struggle, you would struggle equally. So like we didn't have that kind of difficulty. What's interesting about that is that like Cyrillic is more, of course, like traditional, millennium old letters, and it's used on all official documents, but also on like
Like
churches.
standard language,
Yeah.
standard alphabet is Cyrillic.
Yes, that's our letter. Latin became when the Yugoslavia was started, and then you had Croats and Muslims from Bosnia and all the people. So it was kind of the, how to say, the middle ground.
Yeah, yeah, like English, for example.
Yeah, of course. So now after all that, like the Cyrillic is kind of marked as like nationalist,
Yeah.
or whatever, and I'm really sad about that because I think in the this globalist world, anything that's unique will get trashed. And yeah, ultra nationalist people use that letter, of course, but I don't think that's kind of the reason to forget it, because it really is millenniums old, and none of the kids have problem learning it. So it is kind of the interesting, maybe like social perspective. Who use it, who likes it, who hates Latin. You have all this division. We talked about this, like Serbia is a deeply divided country on every issue. So it is now. It's more of a curiosity thing for me now, but yeah, you have all the ancient documents written on that, and like our first vocabulary and shit like that. But I think it's cool that we also have Latin, because like it's
Yeah, you can connect with all the rest of the
yeah,
world.
it's much easier than like Russians or Belarus or Ukrainians, just to understand those letters. And the cool thing about Serbian language is that every letter is pronounced as it is.
Yeah.
So like my name is Uroš, that's Uroš. There are no
Yeah, which is the S with the accent.
yeah. That's the S with the accent. But there are no additional letters or
Yeah,
silent letters,
like
or
combination
switching,
between
or
letters.
this like English word yacht. It's YACHT, and it's pronounced as yacht. So
Yeah.
so that's kind of cool about Serbian language, that it has those one letter one sound rule. But yeah, I'm glad you're starting to like the
Yeah, I
Cyrillic.
love your like road signs and stuff like that. I don't know. I like that our P is your R.
Yeah,
Like the F is like the O with the I in the center, and the P like the Greek P, from Greek. So Pekara is a really good way to train in the first.
I like it because like it's so you see it is ancient like Greek alphabet or like Arab words, that it's kind of, when you have pretty handwriting, it's sexy, it's kind of calligraphy. It's for me much more interesting than the Latin, like aesthetically, but yeah.
Maybe I should start like open Wikipedia and start learning all the alphabet so I can read road signs and stuff like that completely. Okay, Thank you, Uroš.
Okay, so before we wrap it up, I didn't want to like brag about my country, but you can just say in like 1 minute the things you like the most in Serbia.
Yeah, fuck, I forget. I totally forget about Pljeskavica.
Yeah.
Yeah, for the people who has been listening to this until the end, because it's 51 minutes.
Oh no shit. We're
Yeah.
just like two desperate housewives with a bottle of wine.
Yeah,
We're trash.
but man,
Okay.
it's been very, very cool. It's one of my best interviews. Yeah, one of the best things I love in Serbia are the people, because you are very social skilled, so you can talk easily with anyone. So you're not like snobs or like shy and stuff like that. If you need to talk to someone, they just will reply without any kind of problem. And yeah, I love a pieskavica, which is like the perfect mix between a kebab and an hamburger. And yeah, pieskavica means like a smashed meat,
Yeah.
because
Pljasnuti. Like when you in like cartoons and comic books, when you hit something, you
yeah,
can see plas.
like a gulp or
Yeah.
a smash and stuff like that.
So ours is plas.
Yeah, maybe this will be the title of the podcast. I don't know.
Sure.
And yeah, I also love Karađorđeva, your nightlife. This thing that you drink rakia in every time of the day. And I don't know. I love Isaac Serbia. I don't know how it is Isaac Italy, but Isaac Serbia is very, very cool. Thank you for all of this, Uroš.
That's great. It's been an absolute pleasure, and I hope people, your listeners, liked it. So,
Yeah, we promote it.
hvala na pažnji i laku noć.
So, this is Serbaindipity, the most precious souvenir I brought with me after the 3 months I spent in Belgrade, Serbia. Hope you enjoyed the interview. Share it with whoever you want, and stay tuned for the next episode. Ajde!